I have special co-host Megan McIsaac, professional photographer, and we're live. Hello. Okay.
Hello.
I have special co-host Megan McIsaac, professional photographer. We know her, we love her. Very good friend of the Independent. She has shot so many photos for us, and she does a fantastic job. And she's just here with me because we're at my aunt's house. It's Memorial Day weekend. We've been eating the ceviche, drinking the wine, looking fabulous in dresses and sweaters. We together, hand in hand. Give me your hand. We'll be interviewing. Did we say wine? We were drinking wine, right?
Indeed.
Okay.
Here we are.
We're going to be interviewing headliner Jayson Acevedo. I like to say Acevedo because I think that's truly how you pronounce it. Some of you might say Acevedo, whatever the fuck. We'll get down to the nitty gritty. But he is a headliner out of Chicago. He is hilarious, and here he is entering the thing. Jayson Avocado on Instagram.
Welcome.
Yeah, he uses instruments, and he's got like a guy up there with him who is helping him out with his songs, playing the piano, and it was just so much fun watching him do his thing. So maybe he'll do a little song about me and Megan during the interview if he's nice enough. He'll be like, you can't afford it. But we're gonna go live with him, see what he's up to, see how quarantine's treating him.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, we have one fan.
Hell yeah.
What are we looking at here?
There you go.
Oh my God.
Sorry, I was like, that's not me.
Nice glasses, bro.
Oh, thank you. It's exhausting being a heartthrob in quarantine.
I totally understand, honestly. It's my personal struggle as well. Same with Megan. This is Megan.
I'm Megan. Nice to meet you.
What's been going
It's a
on,
pleasure.
man? How's quarantine?
Hey, oof. That is that's really the word to describe it. I just, I can't afford therapy, so this is what this is going to be.
Love it.
At first it was like the first 3 or so weeks was just like, just thinking a lot, like reflecting on everything. And, everybody was singing the same tune, like, oh my God, 2020, my year, clear vision, yum, 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 yum. And then I'm over here like, no, but I legitimately believed like this is going to be the fucking year.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. I'm over here, like I was depressed, very depressed for like 3 weeks. And then I've exhausted so many Pornhub premium package, like fucking accounts or whatever. Because, you can get it for free during quarantine.
I know that.
And it was just getting sad. It was just like, after a while, I was just like, I just want to love someone,
Other than myself. Yes, I get it.
Thank you. This really is therapy. God bless.
I love it.
And then I was just like, you know what? I am not feeling funny. I'm not feeling like going on fucking virtual mics, because I know that I am like the Kanye West of comedy, but I'm not craving attention like that right now. I don't really feel like bombing virtually.
Yeah. We can
tell
by the sunglasses.
Yeah. So I was just like, yeah, let me just fucking get a job at Amazon so I won't be at home just bored and depressed, because anybody can collect unemployment. And I was just let me get some steps in. I got that Fitbit, so I was just like, I gotta do.
Look at us, twinsies.
Oh my God, can we be like the first? Can we like follow each other's stats and see who outwalks whoever or whatever?
I love doing that. Let's do it.
But yeah, I'm delivering packages now.
This is awkward.
So
That's good. All right. Well, glad you're alive and well, and your sunglasses look great, and your hair looks fantastic. It's gonna be okay.
Thank you.
It's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Or have you
it is what it
been
is.
like writing and doing music at all? Like, have you had any creative outlet?
Well, I finally wrote my first 5 jokes while in quarantine on my second shift working for Amazon, so that was good. I Okay, so I've been doing this thing. I haven't done this since high school, but I hopped back on to. Do you guys know a site known as Chat Roulette?
Oh,
Of
yeah.
course. I've seen so many
Okay,
dicks. Yes.
so so there's Chat Roulette, and then there's Omegle. Okay,
What is that?
so Omegle is like its cousin. It started out just as like random texting with people online, and then they finally made their way into like the video chat market. And it's essentially the same, except there is a chat attached, so you can type with someone and watch someone. So I just get on there. I went on there like 4 days ago, and I just start randomly singing to people, and people either stop and do the whole like, oh my god, wow, that's great, so cute, and then they. So I've just been doing that because I miss karaoke, and I miss people telling me that I'm good looking and I have talent. So yeah.
I get it. Get it where you can, I suppose. Good job. Way to do it.
Yeah, it's also a fun way to like get people to follow you on the gram and people to go to my website. So it's
Of
been fun.
course. What's it called again?
It's called Omegle. Omegle.
Okay.
Sounds like my new nickname.
Right? I thought you kept saying like Omega, like omega-3 or something. I was like, that's creative.
Nah. No, but it's been good. I've been rotating through the same like 4 or so songs, but they all just sound like Bruno Mars is covering them, which is fun. So I go
Not a bad
from
mix.
all of my life, Casey and JoJo, Drops of Jupiter, Train, Jolene,
Love
Ray
Jolene.
LaMontagne,
Hmm.
Yeah.
and then Let It Be by the Beatles.
Wow.
Fucking killing it. So can
It's
people
a good
like
time.
chime in and like watch you? Like, do you have an audience? I don't really.
Okay, so I mean, it's just like this. Like, you just randomly press, like, it just starts, and then it can go to one person. There could be 2 people in, like, it depends on, like for right now, like, you're in the same room.
Yeah.
So it just depends.
We
It's
are.
not like a Zoom conference. It's not like a Zoom conference. It's just, it's a random. I mean, you'll see a couple dicks, but once you get past that, it's a good time.
Once you get past the level of dicks you didn't want to see, you will be thriving and singing karaoke.
Well-
It's just like real life. It's just like real
Well, my
life.
favorite is when there is a person with just their dick out, but they don't switch. So it's like for 5 seconds, I'm just singing to a dick.
Which has
So
got
it's
to
a
be a
good time.
nice exercise.
It is. I like.
Does the dick move at all?
Yeah.
Does the dick move?
Singing words?
It's
I
just a
mean-
dick with headphones on. It's going like really feeling the music.
Hell yeah. This is good.
That's amazing. All right. Well, I do kind of want to start down your little comedy journey here, if you
Okay.
don't mind. Did
No,
you
please.
start off in Chicago or did you end up in Chicago?
I'm born and raised in Chicago, so I operate out of here.
Okay. The way you said that was
I-
like, excuse me, I was born and raised here. You fucking puta.
No, I don't know. Yeah, you're right. I don't know why that sounded so aggressive. I apologize.
It's okay.
I just ate too, so I should be calmer.
Blood sugar spike.
Yeah.
No, yeah, born and raised here. I started comedy when I was 16, so 10 years ago, and I have performed in multiple festivals, multiple states, 4 different countries, 2 different languages since. So
Hell yeah. Do you have a what's been your favorite like experience so far? Like, do you have a favorite venue or state?
I think it's like a tie. It's between I think it's a 3-way tie, honestly. I fucking love Portland because I can't get enough of white girls.
Megan did a lot of
they-
time there. Speaking of white girls living in Portland.
The first person I ever 69'd was in Portland, and she was wonderful.
Nice.
And she's a personal trainer, and from time to time sends me like tips and like workout plans and shit. And it's like, you got to stay alive. You're cute. And I'm like, yeah.
I gotta stay alive. You're cute. Tips
And,
and tips.
Yeah.
But Portland, yeah. Oh my God, that sounds like a podcast waiting to happen.
We can make it happen.
Please. But no, yeah, Portland. Because every time I go to Portland, I feel like I'm this like big shot, and I'm only there featuring or like headlining a couple small shows. And I have a spot where I go to eat brunch, and they like the owner loves me. It's like a female owned fucking like brunch spot. It's called Junior's Cafe. They make some dope ass like fucking.
Yeah.
If they make their own cider. They fucking. It's just
We
so
love
fucking
it.
Portland.
Yeah.
And but Portland's a good time. I've been there twice, and I've performed at one of their clubs in April, and what a time! What a time that was.
What a time. Okay.
Portland, Paris is a tie as well, not Texas, France.
Uh-huh.
And then Paris is just wonderful because I never would have imagined being in Paris.
Yeah.
But that happened because I had a study abroad opportunity in college, and I just booked 2 shows, and that turned into 6.
That's awesome.
And then that led to performing for 2 weeks straight at the world's largest arts festival in Scotland at the Edinburgh Festival Fringe.
Fuck yeah.
Very cool. I haven't
And
I haven't
then,
talked, sorry to interrupt you real quick. I haven't talked to a
Oh,
lot
go
of
ahead.
comics who have done work overseas.
Right.
What was your very first experience like going over there?
Well, so the first time I performed overseas was in Paris. And that's a good question because that was a crazy time to be in Paris. The first show that I did, they were like, also I'm outside, so if you hear a dog, it's not mine. Yeah, so the first show I ever did in Paris, they were like, okay, so we have this tradition where if you're visiting us for the first time, you have to go up first. And I was like, oh, okay, sure. And then I went up, and that is the only clip that I have from Paris. I have a bunch of audio recordings, but killed it, took my shirt off at the end, classic stuff. And it went super well. And the next day, Paris got attacked. It was, they were going through, I wouldn't say it was their 9/11, but it was a very traumatic and very serious time and a very upsetting time in their history. It was an attack on a publication known as Charlie Hebdo, which if you're familiar with The Onion in Chicago, that is their version of it, where it's a satirical newspaper. And basically Al-Qaeda or ISIS, was basically threatened the cartoonists saying, also, why did I just correct myself between Al-Qaeda and I was so polite when they don't really deserve that.
That was very polite.
Yeah.
Excuse me, ISIS.
Yeah. It sounds like I'm on C-SPAN or something. But anyway, yeah. So these cartoonists were known for openly and shamelessly satirizing and drawing pictures of the Prophet Muhammad that did not show him in a flattering manner.
Right.
They made so they
How dare they?
Exactly, yeah. ISIS was like, nah, bro, we can't do that shit. And then the cartoonists were like, well, we're willing to die for our rights. And ISIS took that literally and came through and shot up HQ and shot up these cartoonists. So every show that I did was after that. And the last show I did, I headlined, and I'll never forget that because, I still have the audio recording, but I remember earlier in the week, one of my favorite people that I met there, he basically just one day randomly, just in casual conversation was like, fuck fear, we're all here, whatever. So I was like, I'm going to take that and I'm going to include that somehow in my set. And it got serious towards the end where I just said, I just did like a little, because I was like, I'm an American and like I'm an outsider. So being here while all this is happening, I just want to let you all know that for what it's worth, I'm here to listen and be there for you and whatever else that you need. And, it's like, oh, it's crazy. We get to, people are mad because we get to be free to do this, to drink a glass of wine and enjoy some jokes and whatnot. And some people aren't okay with that, but whatever, some other inspiring shit. And then I was just like, it got really quiet, and I said, yeah, fuck fear, we're all here.
Mhm.
And then you could hear someone in the recording just go like a little, huh, heh. And then I just go, it got really quiet, and I was like, I was going to take my shirt off, but I don't think I should do that anymore. And then finally everybody just erupted in laughter, and I was like, fuck it. And I took my shirt off, and I was just like, I love you, Paris, and good night. And then I had a woman come up to me crying, and she was like, you know, what you did up there was
Art.
And it ended up being the last line for my project, because it was a creative writing class, a study abroad class that I was there. The last line was just how a woman came up to me and said, you know, what you really did up there really touched me. And I said, you know, it's funny because your city did the same for me. Also,
Very
I had
nice.
a crepe. Also, I had a crepe under the Eiffel Tower, and if that is not the epitome of lonely, I don't know what is.
Not the only one.
So Portland, Paris, and then this is a random little town in between Wisconsin and Illinois called South Beloit. And yeah, it's one of my favorite rooms ever. They're just such a good fucking time. It's like a bar in the middle of nowhere, and I've done that.
Yes.
I've done that room 4 times, and I close out every time, and yeah, that crowd is just wonderful.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, so we do kind of base these interviews around like advice you would give younger you, or like advice you would give to any young comics like coming up right now.
Okay.
As far as like your adventures overseas, because I do want to touch base on that one more time. What's some
Sure,
advice
sure.
you would give to somebody who's like just starting off and who is kind of like dreaming of, you know, doing something like that in like taking their shirt off in France? What's some advice that you would give?
Well, the best advice that I've ever gotten was don't take anybody's advice, which kind of fucked with my head because I was like, but that's advice. How do I not?
And now I'm having a seizure.
And-
yeah.
Essentially, what he meant by that was just nobody can tell you how to be you. And let me put it to you in this way too. So I love jazz. I'm a huge fan of jazz. Not the Utah jazz, but like music.
Chicago jazz.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, hey, no, we got the blues
Sorry,
here,
jazz.
but jazz
Yeah.
jazz is fine in
There's some
Chicago.
jazz
Yeah.
there, yeah.
Oh yeah. But you know, I love jazz, and I use this analogy all the time with new comics, where comedy is a lot like jazz, where in jazz, or in stand-up too, stand-up is jazz, where what is jazz? It's improvisation, it's timing, and it's rhythm. And why do people look cool when they're doing jazz? Because they're doing it their way. And I think essentially any scene that you're in, everybody, and here's where I blow your minds, a lot of people are doing, like, they're not doing themselves, they're doing covers of other comedians. They have yet to fully unlock, or even, you know, they have yet to really accept who they are when they're on and off stage. Because a lot of people have trouble really finding their voice or exploring their voice because they're too focused on how others will perceive them. And I think the best advice I could give is do things that scare you. Do things that scare you. Also, stop trying to, who cares what somebody else got? Just because one person got something doesn't mean that there's not another thing out there for you. And if it doesn't feel like that, then create your own opportunity. A lot of people think that it's just waiting for something to happen, when the way I look at it is I don't have time to wait. I have time to create. And yes, that did rhyme. Goddamn. Yeah, and I don't know. I think my favorite thing is always I love doing things differently, and I love doing things my way. So I love not being able to be labeled. You know, that's just Jayson. Jayson goes up and he does comedy the way he wants to do it.
For sure.
Because, you know, a lot of people, again, they're doing covers. They're always trying to be like somebody else. And I'd say don't be afraid of truly being you on stage. And even if you don't know what that means, that's why, this is a process. It doesn't just happen overnight.
Yeah.
And you know what? Also, a lot of people can make careers not being sure of who they are, or even being okay with who they are. A lot of people go up there and they do what they think the audience is going to be into. But I think a lot of people forget to, write for themselves, create for themselves, and really, explore, like, just fucking, like, I know it's simple, but just fucking have fun and don't let others motivate or dictate what you want to do on stage.
Absolutely.
And just, just be kind.
Yeah.
Don't date comics either. It's really hard, especially when, for example, myself has a crush on you, and I was just like, it's fine. She's going to a wedding, and, I got no time. I'm just going to casually drop that in there. But,
Noted.
At the end of the day, I didn't start doing comedy because I wanted to be like someone. I wanted to be me.
Yeah.
And I wanted to be,
Fuck yeah.
that's pretty much it. Now I'm just rambling.
Punk rock, baby. Fuck yeah, dude. I love that. As far as like the professional aspect of stand-up comedy and what it's like to book yourself, what it's like to hit the road and like produce things and like put yourself out there in a professional manner, what's a couple sentences on that advice?
On traveling the road?
Just like being a professional, like what, like the emails and the clips and like, introducing yourself in a professional manner.
You're not owed anything. People are not here to help you, but if you're kind enough and you respect people and you understand that you're not the only one out there who's trying to achieve whatever it is that they're trying to achieve, I think that really helps people realize that, I think a lot of people forget to put their ego and pride aside. Because again, I am the Kanye West of comedy. I know that.
Yeah.
But collaboration is key. So when you're on the road, the more people that you can connect with, and even, it's just about being kind and just knowing that, again, I think a lot of people look at it too, where it's like, I don't like that person because they haven't done anything for me. And it's just like, well, bro, why can't you just like take a second and just maybe get to know the person for a second and then see what you're both interested in and see, and it's not about what you can do for each other. It's about what, I don't know. I guess what I'm saying is people just get too, like, people forget to just be a person. Like, fuck being a comedian. Like, nobody knows how to be polite anymore, and is always in a rush. And it's just like, bro, like, look, we don't care where you're from. Like, just fucking talk to us, and we'll work with you. If people want to collaborate with you, they'll let you know. But if you put out that energy that you're not just there to work, you're there to, you're there to,
for sure.
So. It is, and I've met a lot of amazing people. Holy shit! If it weren't for comedy, I wouldn't be the most boring person. I just probably wouldn't have had as many really dope experiences with so many dope people from so many different walks of life. And comedy has really opened a lot of doors in terms of,
for sure.
So.
It's true. It's very, very true. I've met some of the most amazing people ever because of this shit, and I am still talking to them, and it's people like from all over the world, which is really, really cool. So I resonate with that a lot, and I know Megan does too. She does a lot of traveling for her photography and her professionalism.
Even as a non-comedian,
Hell yeah.
The amount of people that I've met in the comic scene has been exponential to every other art scene, for sure.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
So I also want to talk a little bit about just like your upbringing as well, because I feel like you're somebody who may have been surrounded by funny people maybe your whole life, or like,
I mean, not necessarily funny people, but laughter, like laughs that you don't forget.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like for sure, my mom, like when I first heard my mom laugh, I was like, yo, what do I got to do to keep hearing that?
Aw,
Right.
that's cute.
My dad was, this is funny. My dad was in a jazz band before, in a Latin jazz band
Fuck yeah.
before he met my mom. So then
Aw.
there's that, like, there's like that performance background in the family too. My grandfather was a minister, so that's where I get like all the conviction from and all that. Um, but in terms of people who were funny around me, I don't know. I think
I
I
guess what I meant by that was because watching you is like a true experience because you're so unique. Like your craft of comedy is so unique because you're going up there and you're just like pulling from the audience. It's like your entire spiel is a heckle, and you're heckling them, and then they're heckling you, but you're like hilarious. And you are truly like the host of the room. Like you are the
right.
one in control of the room at all times, and it's quite the experience to just sit there in the back of the room and watch. So I know that comes from, like, I don't know, were you bullied? Like where does this quick wit come from, man? Like you're fast on your feet, you're fucking a musician, like it's sick, dude. Like I mean, I know you've been doing it for 10 years, but where does that come from?
My thing is, well, I so I and the way I can simplify it is I treat every time, no matter, because for those that don't know what Johanna is talking about is so the format that I do is just a completely improvised musical stand-up comedy experience. So go up there with nothing, and I have a pianist, not a pianist, a pianist, and talk to the crowd. And whatever we talk about, we turn into a song right on the spot. The way I describe that show and that format is, and essentially what I try to treat every time I'm on a stage, is I treat it like I'm in my little apartment living room and I'm 5 years old again, and I'm learning or discovering that performing in front of just my sister is enough to convince me that yes, that is what I want to do for the rest of my life. So yeah, I treat it like I'm in a little apartment living room, and it's just me playing and it's me having fun. There's no rules, there's no right or wrong. It's just you explore, and the fun is going on that journey and not necessarily the destination, which is sounds like a tattoo.
I love it. Lower back tattoo for sure.
But yeah, so where the wit comes from, I don't really know how to explain it. I think I've always been quick. I've always been. I mean, I don't think it was. I'm wired that way. I don't think it
Yeah.
was an accident. I'm
Right.
always like,
Well, it sounds like your
I
family
was.
really the
I was.
performance.
Yeah. I was built to be quick and. Yeah, I don't really know. You know what? I think it's just growing up and either watching a lot of TV or just being surrounded. Like I was always that kid in the classroom where I always had to have a take on something. And I love that you're just smelling her hair for
Smelled so good
what?
when she flipped it.
Just it's all. Um, yeah, that really threw me off.
Sorry.
So no, you're fine. I dig it. No, I mean, I've always prided. Well, first of all, I didn't even know what wit was until I was in high school, where my music teacher was like, "You're pretty witty," and I was like, "What the hell does that mean?"
Right.
And he was just like, "Well, that's a sign of
You're like,
intelligence.
you're
It means."
racist.
Yeah. Well, that would have been weird because he's Filipino, so. But no, yeah, he was like, "No, that's a sign of intelligence. That means that, you can." You're equipped to say funny or silly or even sometimes thought-provoking things. And I've always been quick. I knew that when I was younger, I didn't think that I could do stand-up. Honestly, I was just like, I want to do improv. I want to do Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Ooh, that's
Because I don't like to prepare. I just love going up with nothing and then creating something from nothing.
yeah, badass.
But yeah, in terms of where that wit come from, I that's just who I am, and that's who I strive to be every day.
It certainly is the $1,000,000 question. Megan, do you have any questions for Jayson?
No, I just really want to grab these clowns over here.
Okay, grab the clowns. I do have one last question for you. It's my closer for these interviews.
Sure.
What is something that you are super proud of? Like, what's something you've accomplished and you're like, damn. And I'm talking in comedy, in the comedy world. What's something that you were like, fuck yeah?
This is such a very, I mean, I got in, yeah, that is, are those like cookie jars?
They sure are.
Swag. Okay, cool. All right, are there cookies in them?
No.
No, I'm
This
so
is Megan's
intrigued.
new bra. That's what it is.
No cookies.
Also, there's so many people who are joined that I have not talked to in years. What's up? Holy shit. Okay,
Say what
cool.
up.
Yeah, what up? Anyway, and that's why we haven't talked in years.
Yeah.
So, well, one silly thing was I got invited to perform in Mexico on behalf of the city of Chicago.
Ooh.
So there's a tourist organization here called Choose Chicago, and through a connection with the Second City, which is huge improv sketch comedy school here in Chicago. Anybody you've seen on SNL or Mad TV or anything comedy related has performed at Second City, like myself. But anyways, Choose Chicago contacted Second City and they were like, do you know anybody that can tell jokes in Spanish? And then Second City was like, well, we know one guy. So then they hit me up and I was like, I have only told jokes in Spanish maybe 2 times, but I'm down to go to Mexico for free. And they brought me out to Mexico. And the cool thing about that trip was right when I got to the airport, I had a driver and he had my name on like one of those like, and it just said Choose Chicago, Jayson Acevedo. And I was like, dope. So that's a pretty small, dumb thing to be proud of. But I was like, okay. Oh, and then here's another dumb, silly thing. My favorite comedy club in Chicago, Zanies in Rosemont. Shout out to Zanies, or just Zanies in general. I ordered a deep dish on my first night featuring there, and someone from the front of the house came by into the green room, knocked on the door, and just went, "Mr. Acevedo, your deep dish is here." And I felt like I had unlocked a new level that day for sure.
You did, definitely.
Hell yeah. Well,
yeah,
that's amazing. Congratulations. Yeah, welcome to the.
And also, yeah, shout out to you guys in Ham Hocktramack. I had
Detroit deep
no, I
nailed it.
I had a really good time because it's such an intimate room and it's such an intimate experience, and I had a wonderful time just fucking around with those people that came out. I love how, I think it was I don't know if it was the first or second night, but we just had a table full of old people and it was fucking wonderful.
That's awesome.
But yeah, no, I appreciate you guys out there and, look forward to coming back soon.
Hell yeah, man. Thank you. We'd love to have you. Just keep in touch after all this bullshit passes over. Plug away on where we can find any of your shit, anything you're working on or any past projects. Yeah.
Music comedy.
So just my website, I'll type it in right there.
Please do.
JaysonAvocado.com.
Woo.
Obviously here on the gram, my special Lonely Wit, which is again a completely improvised musical comedy, stand-up comedy experience, is available now for $5 on my website. And if you'd like for me to sing to you personally, I have an OnlyFans at Milk Double Duds 6969.
Hell yeah, Milk Duds.
I wish Milk Double Duds 6969 at OnlyFans.
Yeah, is that a reference to your nipples or what's up with that?
Yeah, just all of it, just the general area.
All right, Jayson, you've been lovely. Thanks so much for dropping in. We appreciate you so much and hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend. We'll talk to you soon.
Hell yeah. You do the same. See you guys.
Bye. Oh.